That's right! On this episode of the Turnbuckle Boys, we get an update on R-Truth's knee injury. Randy Orton had some huge creative plans nixed because of his injury. And we get an understanding of why Ricky Starks was off TV because of a non-wrestling related issue. So without further ado, it's time to hit a Trouble in Paradise. I almost forgot what it was. Into some wrestling news because it's time for the Turnbuckle. Hi, I'm back. Hello. R-Truth squared off against Grayson Waller in the opening match of NXT this week. At one point during the match, Truth sent Waller out of the ring for a diving spot. Truth then delivered a dive, but he hit hard while landing on the mat. Due to this, it was evident that he suffered an injury. According to Dave Meltzer in the Wrestling Observer newsletter, R-Truth likely suffered a quad injury, which will put him on the shelf for a long time. R-Truth was injured on the November 1st NXT show during a flip dive against Grayson Waller. He didn't quite clear the top rope on the move and came down badly, and his left leg was gone. This wasn't confirmed at press time, but the belief was that he tore his quad, which is a very serious injury that could keep him out for a long time. Again, I'm really upset to hear about this. I was really looking forward to some of the stuff that R-Truth had planned, with some of the storylines. You can see that he clearly was going on some type of, he was getting in some type of feud with Grayson Waller. Or maybe he was going to get into a feud with Grayson Waller and then, he could have gotten into, a more serious feud. And then at some point, Shelton Benjamin could have, made his way back into the fold, So I'm really upset about this because if you have been following along the R-Truth storyline, you'll know that him and Shelton Benjamin were talking to each other, and Shelton was pretty much, he cut a promo and he was pretty much saying how they were underutilized and everything, right? So I feel like at some point down the line, we could have potentially gotten an R-Truth Shelton Benjamin tag team, maybe a more serious side of R-Truth or something like that, you know what I mean? The sky was the limit. There were a bunch of different possibilities that R-Truth could have went down with this new, not even new, but just the way that he was getting a resurgence, essentially, right? The way that he was getting put on TV a lot more, and we were seeing a lot more of R-Truth than we normally would, because, not to even discredit the I keep hitting the mic, sorry, it's right there, and I talk with my hands, all right, leave me alone. Not to discredit the absolute chef's kiss storyline that he had with the 24/7 title and all the promos he was cutting, the promo that he had with Brock Lesnar and everything like that. The amount of things that he was doing and the fact that he was featured on TV. So he was doing great, but I was more excited about this because not only was he on TV more, but he was going to be featured in more prominent storylines, you know what I mean? And I feel considering that he was tagging with Shelton Benjamin on main event, that obviously was going to possibly lead into a more, well thought out, for lack of a better term. It was going to lead into a more well thought out storyline. So I highly doubt that. He's injured now, and we're probably not going to see him back for quite some time. I hope that when he does make a recovery, we do, he wastes no time. Well, obviously, I want him to be 100%, obviously, so I really shouldn't say that. But, man, I was really, genuinely, man, I'm not even trying to be funny. I was really looking forward to what R-Truth had in store and some of the storylines that he had planned and everything like that. And I know that Grayson Waller was just the tippity top of the iceberg. And to be honest with you, Grayson Waller actually was a really good fit. You needed somebody overly heelish, to go against somebody like R-Truth, you know what I mean? I feel there were some really decent plans set in place for him, and I'm really upset that we're not going to get to see those plans in action anytime soon. But listen, okay, what do I always say when talking about injury? Okay, I always say we hope they make, say it with me, we hope they make a speedy recovery. There we go. A speedy recovery. You know what I'm talking about, all right? I don't even have to say it. All right, boys. Speaking of speedy... Wow, that was really loud. I'm so sorry about that. Speaking of speedy recoveries, to find that place. During a give me... Sorry. Randy Orton had huge creative plans next because of the injury that he had. So I think it was his shoulder, right? During a Give Me Sport interview with WrestleVotes, it was reported that WWE's original plans for the Viper's return would have seen him immediately turn on Matt Riddle and begin a feud between the two. Randy Orton went down the plans for him to come back and immediately turn on Matt Riddle. Now listen, okay. I feel as though that I'm part of a minority in the sense of like, I don't think that this would have been a good idea. I really don't think this would have been a good idea. And here's my reasoning, all right? Hold on. Here's my reasoning. I feel as though that this would have been like an Anthony Bowens turning on a Max Caster. You know? Like a John Moxley turning on a Bryan Danielson. A thing of like, they were so over as a tag team that turning them against each other just wouldn't have made any sense. I think that... Okay, maybe I'm reading too much. Maybe I'm thinking of it as though, like, Matt and Randy are just going walking down the street and the Randy, wow, Kane's just absolutely unwarranted. Maybe that wasn't going to be happening. You know? Maybe, Randy, maybe some plant, you know what I'm saying? Some planting of the seeds, you know? Maybe, it was going to be a storyline that was going to, like, not drag out in a bad way, but you know, like it was gonna take its time. You know what I'm saying? It was gonna stretch out over the course of like a couple months or something, and then at like a big pay-per-view, your Survivor Series, your Royal Rumble, you know, like maybe that's where it would start. If Randy throws him over the top rope, and then that starts the whole thing, and then they fight at like Elimination Chamber or something. They stopped doing Fastlane, didn't they? I don't even remember the last time Fastlane was on. So I keep touching my face. Leave me alone, okay? Go away. So I think that at the end of the day, I feel like maybe at the end of the day, they probably weren't going to do anything like overtly like bad with the storyline. But at the same time, I'm still on the side of the fence of the whole Acclaimed turning on each other thing, in the sense of like, I not that it would have been too soon, but just off the fact that it just wouldn't have worked. It would have just been like people would have been more upset at Randy turning than they would have been that they would have like went along with it, and because they would have booed Randy, but it would have been more of in like why'd you do it? Like it would have been like what have you done? You know, it would have been why, you know. So I mean, to be fair, it would have helped Randy, and it really would have helped Riddle, to be honest with you. It really would have taken Riddle like way to the top, and I feel like to a certain extent that storyline actually would have worked, you know, because it would have you would have had like a true babyface and a true heel, you know, and they would have put on absolutely, because they're both, I mean, just fantastic wrestlers at the end of the day. So the matches would have been absolutely fantastic. But I feel like all in all, I don't think that this would have been a good idea. I think at the end of the day, if you're going to do something like that, if you have to, fine. I'm not saying don't do it. Although I am kind of saying don't do it. But I'm only saying don't do it in the sense of like, you know, I feel like the crowd wouldn't have wanted it. You know what I mean? The crowd wouldn't have wanted it. I'm indifferent towards it because it really doesn't matter at the end of the day, you know, what my take on it is. But if I had to say, I don't think it's a good idea. I think maybe give them, or you know what though? You know what? Now that I think about it, yeah, maybe it was time for them to, you know what? I take back everything I said. That's it. I flip-flop, okay? I'm done. I think, you know what? Because I was going to say, maybe give them like one big run with the tag titles, but it's like, they already had a run with the tag titles, didn't they? You know, I feel like, and then the Scooters, and then, you know, the RK Bro, you know what I mean? Like, they were over like Rover, you know what I mean? So, at the end of the day, I think that, yeah, man, that wouldn't, it's the right idea. So, you know what? I take back everything that I said. That would have made a whole lot of sense. Finally, Ricky Starks is off AEW television due to a non-wrestling related issue. The company recently announced a segment for the November 4th edition of AEW Rampage with Ricky Starks set to appear, promising the fans they will hear from him. This will mark the end of Ricky Starks' 5-week televised absence from Dynamite and Rampage. It is unclear at the moment on what Ricky Starks has planned to say to the entire AEW fans in the locker room, returning after his extended period of absence. Dave Meltzer reported about Ricky Starks not being in the ring for a few weeks due to something non-wrestling related, on the latest edition of Wrestling Observer newsletter. So, listen, We're not even going to get into the fact that Ricky hasn't been on TV in a while. If it's a non-wrestling related issue, it's a non-wrestling related issue. Whatever it is, as long as it isn't anything bad, hopefully it gets taken care of in a timely manner, and that's all that we are going to speak on it, okay? I don't know what it is, and it's not my business to speculate, right? We're not even going to talk about that. I want to talk about how he was portrayed before then. I feel as though that underutilized is an understatement, okay? I think that the whole storyline that he had with Powerhouse Hobbs, that really deflated his character. I think that Ricky Starks is in line for a TNT title run, some type of championship run. You gotta give him something. Because I said this on the last episode of like, oh, if House of Black are gonna come back and they're gonna make a big stink about it, give them a title. Give them a prominent storyline. Make it do something. You know what I mean? I don't know. But if you're going to bring Ricky Starks back, and I don't know what he keeps talking about, but I assume that he's going to come out, right? That's what he's going to do. That's how he's going to look. He's going to come out and do that. I almost choked. Okay. He's going to come out and he's going to talk, right? He's going to say like, oh, this is why I was away for 5 weeks. Now I assume, right, that he's going to go away for that he's going to talk about being away for 5 weeks. And then some heel is going to come in and they're going to, be like, oh, you're a big poopy head, and then he's gonna beat them up. You know what I'm saying? I assume that. I don't know what's gonna happen. I hope that's what's gonna happen. I hope that he's gonna be, inserted into a storyline, because I really don't want him to come back and be like, hi, and then leave, and then that's pretty much it, and then he's on like Elevation or something. I always say that, and I don't want to. It's just like, you have like a wonderful, wonderful man like Ricky Starks, and you're not utilizing him as properly as I feel like you should. I feel like if you're going to get somebody like Ricky Starks, you got to put him in, because he's fantastic on the mic, okay? He is fantastic on the mic. He's fantastic in the ring, right? He's got the look, right? He's got the look. I don't care what anybody says. I think if you, I don't know, man, you've got somebody like Ricky Starks, I feel like it would be very difficult to mess up his character. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, I think that they should really be doing something with him. I think that they should be featuring him in some sort of storyline, because the Powerhouse Hobbs storyline that he was in, I really, really wanted that to be a lot better than it was. Like, Hobbs squashed him, right? And then the beef that they had before the next match that they had was kind of like, and then it was the match. Now, it wasn't bad, but it could have been. I feel like it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. I thought that he got injured at one point. I felt like Hobbs or Starks got injured at one point during the match, but they didn't. Thank goodness, So they were all good. And again, it's a non-wrestling related injury, right? So at the end of the day, it wasn't anything related to like any of the in-ring action. So again, hopefully whatever it is, it's fine. He's fine. You know what I mean? Everybody in his loved ones are perfectly fine and everything's okay. I want Ricky to be in something. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want him to be in a really good storyline, and it would just be a waste of his character and his time if he's not put into a feud at all. You are dropping the ball immensely. If he's put into a feud, right, and it's like I don't know how to explain. Like, literally, if it makes that noise, like if it's one of those feuds, where like I don't know, man. To be fair, though, we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see what happens. I don't know what could happen. It could be anything. So until then, only time will tell. What do we talk about? R-Truth got a quad injury. He's off TV for a prominent prominent time. Hopefully he makes a speedy recovery and he comes back better than ever, okay? And he doesn't do many dives. He can dive, okay? I'm not saying he can't, but maybe he slows down on the dives. Randy Orton was going to turn on Matt Riddle. I'm not saying that that's out of the question. I'm assuming that he's more than likely still going to do that when he comes back. You know what? At first I was like, maybe that's not a good idea, but then I was like, actually, you know what? That seems like a pretty good idea, so maybe that's something that we should probably do. So you know what? We're going to wait and see what happens. And Ricky Starks was off television for a non-wrestling related injury. Again, hopefully nothing is wrong. Hopefully he's fine and everybody he knows and loves is fine, okay? And everything is great and everything's A-okay. Everything's fine, all right? And if he's going to come back, I hope that when he does come back, It's for an actual, like, meat. Oh, it's like a meat lover storyline. It's got all the meat chunks in it, all right? And it's not just some sort of, like, I don't know. It's not like a weird Colt Cabana one-off type deal where he just sort of showed up to make everybody happy and then he left. Because, I mean, if we're going to talk about that for a little bit, that was also weird. But I don't know. That's a story for another time. Folks, I'm going to give a shout out to everybody who stopped by, okay? The nasal strip is staying. I don't care what anybody says. Hopefully everybody has a wonderful tonight and a wonderful tomorrow. And as always, big hugs. Big hugs all around.